Welcome into the Press Box Fantasy Football Show. Glenn Clark, Kyle Ottenheimer, but most importantly, your lovely and talented host. He's back for another season. He is Mr. Ken Zalis, and he's with us in the Press Box Studios. KZ, what's going on, pal?
How you guys doing?
We're all right.
Get started now?
I'm ready. I
get 20 weeks of me.
You know what? It was so much better last year. God, it was so much better last year when there was no preseason football because, it didn't...
Because the stupidity wasn't around as much.
Well, it's that, and then it didn't drag on. It's this feeling that football's back, but it's not back, right? And it drives me nuts.
Yeah, the worst thing for me is that even after the preseason game this week, we still have 2 weeks. Essentially, 10 days or 12, whatever, however many days is for the Thursday night game.
We'll have another show next week, and then we won't be setting a lineup for another 2 weeks.
We're not doing anything. So it's you have, now you're watching, then you'll be watching practices, and you'll, the cuts, and, are there any changes in teams that are significant in any way? So it's weird how the preseason is, because you would normally, after this week, have another preseason game. And
typically the way that it would work. But no, I do like the fact that we're only doing 3.
I do like that.
I would prefer for the number to be 0. Well, that would be my preference.
I think coaches need some of this. I don't know what the magic number is, whether it's 2 or 3.
I think the season was just fine without it last year, KZ. Think it was just fine. The Press Box Fantasy Football Show is brought to you by Glory Days Grill, MDOT, and CCBC. Need to hone your computer skills to boost your career? Or maybe you want an IT certification. CCBC Continuing Education has the courses and programs you need for a career in the computer field, and it's all tuition-free. From the basics to specialized training, we have the classes you need, from hardware to programming to cybersecurity and so much more. It's your choice. It's your career. Call 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/computer training. Lots to cover this week, KZ. Let's begin with a trade. Sony Michel goes from the Patriots to the Rams. There's a lot of fallout from something like this. Let's start with Sony Michel specifically. Is Sony Michel valuable now in any way because he's an LA Ram?
I mean, he's more valuable, I guess. He goes from one timeshare, we assume, because everything in New England is always a timeshare, to another timeshare. But, I think he's going to be given the opportunity to be the main back.
And the goal line back, right?
And the goal line back. Akers goes down. Henderson comes in. He's our guy. We like Jones. We like Funk. We like our guys. We don't feel a need to make a move.
That's what Buck Showalter always said.
And they make a move.
Yep.
Okay? They like
It's almost like when people say things in the preseason, it doesn't mean a damn thing, and we should stop thinking that it does.
But, you have to... So where does that leave Henderson? Well, they had Henderson on the roster. They drafted a running back with their first pick in Akers.
Mm-hmm.
They made Akers their starter down the stretch last year and made Henderson an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
They have so much confidence in the preseason after Akers goes down that they go out and get Sony Michel. I'm kind of out of the Henderson business now.
So let's do this. You're drafting Sony Michel where? Where does he have value?
Middle rounds, 8th, 9th.
Okay.
He's no better than my RB3. I mean, at desperation, like if I go wide receiver, tight end, quarterback early, I maybe my 3. I would prefer him to be my 4. He's never healthy. I mean, he looks great when he's in there. He's always looked great when he's in there, but he's never healthy. He has no cartilage in his knees. We're talking bone versus bone. Eventually, those things hurt. So then what are we talking about? We're talking about, well, then why don't you like Henderson? I was like, because they've given me every opportunity not to like
So he's dropped
Henderson.
From where to where? Darrell Henderson was where?
He was an RB. He was somewhere around 20. I probably have him somewhere around 30 to 32, so he's an RB3.
Where are you taking him?
Are you still taking him over Michel?
Right now I am. Just because I don't.
Health.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah,
and presumably he's the pass catching back,
yep.
right?
Well, yeah. I'll be quite honest. At the end of the day, I like Xavier Jones. I still like Xavier Jones.
You're still taking him at some point.
Yeah, because he's free
but
now.
This is a flyer at the end of the draft.
Of course, he's absolutely free. Now, I was taking him as early as the 10th round, last week, maybe 4 days ago. But now I want Jones on my roster. I may even, with my last pick, grab Funk with a pick. I mean, I look. They're going to keep. They're going to keep 4. We now know who the 4 are.
Right.
Okay. So they, again, grain of salt.
And you're convinced that offense as a whole is so
good.
Yeah.
It's good. I want a piece of it. So if at some point either Jones or Funk, if you want to draft, in the 16th round, last pick of your draft, why not? I mean, who else are you taking?
Well, it depends if you're doing some of the other goofy things we talked about. Like,
but
if you're taking a chance on a Michael Thomas at some point, then you probably don't have a roster spot that you can just give away.
But maybe you do, because you can put, Thomas on your IR and then pick somebody else that you would have taken, after the draft.
Yeah.
Right. But, I mean, at that point, who are we taking anyway? I mean, we were just discussing, I'm in one of these drafts where I'm in the 13th round, and the next 20 ranked players, according to this service, I don't like any of them, so I took like the 40th player.
Yep.
We're talking about guys. I want lottery tickets. Funk is a lottery ticket. Jones is a lottery ticket. Those are the guys that I want late in my draft, and I almost prefer them. I'll let somebody else take Henderson or Michel at this point, and I'd rather have those guys.
Okay. The other side of it is the Patriots side, which the first thought would be, why are you ever getting involved with the Patriots backfield in fantasy football? Because, my God. But what does this now mean with Sony Michel gone for James White and Damian Harris?
Well, for James White, it means nothing, because James White's role is James White's role. He's the guy that they trust from about the 2 to the 8-yard line to be in their goal line package, because he never fumbles. He's their third down back. He's their pass catching back. His role isn't changing.
Where do you take James White, by the way? Like,
he's your RB4, RB5, because he doesn't. You don't know.
Tell me the round. What round are you looking?
10th to 12th.
Yeah.
He's that guy where you're like, you know what? I don't like any of these other running backs. Give me James White. Yeah. He's safe.
But I also feel like you're never going to end up playing.
But if I need to plug him in, right, he could be a flex in a PPR. He's a guy that I'm not going to get a 0 out of any week. Okay? He's on my roster. He's always going to be – he's as healthy as any back. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx him.
Yeah.
But, he's got – I like Harris because I like the talent, but – I prefer to draft Stevenson at this point because I could get him 3 rounds later than Harris. Stevenson looks great. And I know he's running against guys that probably aren't going to be in the NFL in 3 weeks. I get it, but he's the number 2 back.
The volume Harris got last year is not at all making you think they might commit to him in a little bit more?
Because he doesn't catch passes, and he doesn't get the ball around the goal line. Now, here would be the thing. If somehow in the next 2-3 weeks, Mac Jones is announced as the starter, give me Damian Harris. Give him to me, because now I got a goal line back with some volume. Not going to catch passes, but now I got at least I get double-digit touchdowns, I'm assuming, from him. If Cam's the quarterback,
he's going to run him in himself.
Last year he had 30. He didn't even play a full season, did he? He had 32 red zone rushes. He led the league in red zone rushes.
Yep.
They don't give the ball to anybody but Cam, especially from the 1 or the 2. So it's tough. I don't. Harris is being taken in a lot of places as an RB2. Like if you were to go. Cook, if you have the 2nd overall pick, you may say, oh, well, Harris is there in the 5th round because I went wide receiver. He's my RB2. Ah, man, I don't like that. I don't like anything about it. It's too rich for my blood. Give me Stevenson in the 8th, and I can probably get some better value along the way. So look, nothing's changed in New England. I don't really want parts of the New England backfield, if I can help it.
So but when you bring up Ramondre Stevenson, where are you, again, is this a 15th, 16th round?
No, he's 9, 10, 11, somewhere around there. In order to get him because of because of the preseason he has, and because he's now the number 2 guy supposedly in the pecking order, you're going to have to get him, and you're going to be comfortable with him somewhere as your really low RB3, really high RB4-ish type on your fantasy roster. Now, it makes it easier to grab him if you go running back in your first 2 rounds and you got some, two stable guys. It makes it easier to draft him later. But I mean, he's going to get run, and I'm hoping he at least gets a little bit of touches with the first team this third preseason game to see if it's real against a real defense. Now, who knows who's really playing when New England plays their third preseason game? But look, he's shown breakaway speed. I mean, he's shown power. He's shown lots of good traits from a running back, and he's next in the line of carries, and we know how that goes. So certainly rosterable, low RB3, RB4 type. The value for me in drafts right now is with him.
Join the host of the Press Box Fantasy Football Show, Ken Zalis, for the opening night of NFL season on Thursday, September 9th, 7 o'clock at Sports and Social inside of Live Casino. While you're there, say hi to KZ. Let him give you advice on setting up your fantasy team, picking starters, and who you might trade for or pick up on waivers. Watch the opening NFL game, get free fantasy football tutoring from Ken Zalis, and enjoy the new Sports and Social Club, which is awesome.
Yes, can't wait.
At Maryland Live. We'll see you September 9th. Must be 21 or older to enter. KZ, other big news this week. Travis Etienne, out. Dunsky on season-ending IR. How valuable does this make James Robinson?
So I was higher.
You were always James Robinson guy.
I'm the James Robinson guy. So I was always higher than the rest of the world on him. I love him now. My problem is that entire team looks so bad with this new coaching staff that it's hard. They shouldn't look this bad even in preseason. I mean, you have a solid offensive line that's seemingly intact from last year, and they created lanes and they, things like that last year. They're not creating any lanes. You have wide receivers that are talented. I know we haven't seen Chark yet, but Marvin Jones looks fantastic. You got Chenault. This should be better. This should have looked better in the short spurts than it's been. So I have some concern there. But you have a 3-down back. I mean, how many of them are there? Are there 10? Are there 12? He's an RB2.
Man, they weren't good last year, and he was still really
productive. He was really good. I mean, he's an RB2 for me. I'm confident taking him as early as the third, fourth round, but behind the after you get through the JK and the CEH and that little kind of
taking him ahead of Carson.
Yeah.
Ahead of Swift.
You know what's really funny?
I am taking him ahead of Swift. I hate everything about Swift right now that I'm hearing, and I don't think he's healthy.
I'm glad you just had me use a keeper on him in the 7th round last week.
Sorry.
Thanks, Ken.
Well, seventh round is different than in a redraft where I have to take him in the 2nd or 3rd round. So 7th round is great value because you're getting 4 rounds worth of value.
Yeah, I hear you.
What about Montgomery?
He's a tough one for me. That's where he is. That's right where he is for me. Like Montgomery, I know Montgomery's not going to catch passes, at least not that many, but right now Cohen isn't healthy. He's going to be a volume guy. He gets all the touches near the goal line. He was tremendous the last 7 weeks of the NFL. Maybe
weak
even
schedule though.
Right there for me. Okay. Like that's the spot. You're on the board probably because of my love and affection for James Robinson. I'd probably go Robinson. But if you would go Montgomery, I'm not saying, oh, you idiot, James Robinson's on the way. No, I mean they're right there.
I'm nervous that I'm going to go too high on James Robinson. Like what you just said about that he gets so much work.
I mean, we're talking about Carlos Hyde, another guy. By the way, needs to be owned and drafted late in drafts. 12th,
when you say late,
12th to 16th round, somewhere around there.
Yep.
I just picked him up in. It was funny. We're in a dynasty league, and you can draft. You're drafting rookies, but you can also draft. You don't have to draft rookies. You can take any veteran. I took him in the 4th round of a rookie draft because I was like, do I really want to take Jacob Harris, the tight end, out of the Rams right now? Okay, I like the guy, but I mean, we're one play away from having a starting running back, and Hyde is not a terrible back.
Just always hurt.
Yeah,
he is, but he's one play away again. If you're taking backup running backs, go to a.
But he's always hurt and in a bad offense, and
it shouldn't be a bad offense. I that's the thing. That's the thing I'm having so much trouble with because, man, they looked awful last week. I mean, just awful. I think Robinson carried the ball 3 times for 4 yards. Now, again, terrible for Etienne. I mean, I love this player. I think he could do special things in the NFL. I didn't understand from the beginning them bringing him along so slowly for a guy that he was their second-round pick, right?
First-round pick. Second
first-round pick, which, a lot of people are doing the bit with, well, that's why you should have taken an offensive lineman. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, you probably should have taken an offensive lineman since you just taken a quarterback, but you're a franchise quarterback, and that's what you want to do, and you already had James Robinson on your roster. But Etienne, I mean, he was RB1 on a lot of boards. So I didn't hate the pick. It's unfortunate for him, but it is. I mean, Robinson.
When he says he didn't hate the pick, I remember his reaction when the pick was made. He absolutely hated it, but he hated it because he had a lot of James Robinson future.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was. I
assure you, he
hated the pick because I had James Robinson as a keeper everywhere.
We were doing a show that night. I can confirm to you, he hated.
And from an
pick.
NFL, and I always do this. I always take from the NFL. I didn't think it was the smartest pick because you have your franchise quarterback put your tackle that they can
there were a bunch
grow
of tackles
together.
On the board also.
Yeah, there were at that time. But again, yes, for the James Robinson aspect, I hated the pick.
All right, let's grab a break. When we come back in, we're going to talk about all of the fascination suddenly with the Saints because they played a game on national TV, and we get obsessed with that. We're going to talk about reality when it comes to some of these players that you were getting all hot and bothered about with the Saints on Monday night. Ken Zalis is here, and this is amazing. Like normally he only does this for me, but he's going to be available to you at all hours of the night. He is making it so that
4 a.m. especially.
You enter this contest, PressBoxOnline.com/contest right now, and not only do you get a pre-draft consultation with KZ, but then throughout the season, you're going to be allowed to sleep in the same bedroom as him. And so if you have questions at any point, you can just wake up, go tap him on the shoulder, say, hey, KZ, wake up. What do I got this trade offer. What do I do? And he's going to handle it for you. He's going to make you apple dumplings throughout the course of the
30
year.
30 minutes guaranteed or your pizza is free.
I really should have read the fine print on this. Huh?
He's going to be offering you personalized fantasy football advice throughout the course of the season. He will work for you. You will be his employer all season long, and his priority. Frankly, of all the things that does, you will be the number one priority for KZ all season long. Go sign up right now, PressBoxOnline.com/contest, and you can win. Grab a break. Only need 2 minutes. We'll be right back to talk about the Saints and more. And get your questions in the comments section or at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter as we continue the PressBox Fantasy Football Show with Ken Zalis.
Need to hone your computer skills to boost your career? Or maybe you want an IT certification? CCBC Continuing Education has the courses and programs you need for a career in the computer field. And it's all tuition free. From the basics to specialized training, we have the classes you need from hardware to programming to cybersecurity and so much more. It's your choice. It's your career. Call 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/computer training.
Glory Days Grill's popular summer seasonal menu is back with favorites like their Very Berry Salad and Smoky Thigh Wings. It also features the all-new Shrimp Po' Boy, crispy fried shrimp on a freshly baked sub roll with lettuce, tomato, and a house-made spicy remoulade. Other delicious items include a 12-ounce New York strip steak, the barbecue chicken bowl, barbecue ribs, and Smoky Thigh Wings combo platter, zucchini fries, and a key lime pie. All of these meals pair well with Sam Adams Summer Ale or their anniversary IPA brewed by Devil's Backbone. Glory Days Grill is hiring all positions. Want to work for a great family-oriented company known for their commitment to the community? Stop into one of their restaurants and speak with a manager. Management opportunities are available. Find out more by going to glorydaysgrill.com.
Join Pressbox's fantasy football expert Ken Zalis for the opening night of NFL season on Thursday, September 9th, 7 p.m. at Sports and Social inside of Live Casino. While you're there, say hi to KZ and let him give you advice on setting up your fantasy team, picking starters, and who you might trade for or pick up on waivers. Watch the opening NFL game, get free fantasy football tutoring from Ken Zalis, and enjoy the new Sports and Social Club at Maryland Live. We'll see you on September 9th. Must be 21 or older to enter.
Party with the flock at the Ravens Countdown to Kickoff Watch Party. An all-time low show for $10 anywhere, I assure you. And that's without hanging out with everybody. And they're going to do the whole in-game presentation that they normally do at the stadium. It's just going to be an awesome, awesome night. Parking is free. On top of it, you cannot beat this awesome opportunity. Again, BaltimoreRavens.com/kickoff. Pressbox Fantasy Football Show with Ken Zalis. All right, KZ, the ESPN ran a Monday Night Football game, and with literally nothing else going on in the world right now,
fire.
Everybody's freaking out about the New Orleans Saints. And Jameis Winston obviously has locked up the starting job. By the way, it should have always been Jameis Winston's job. Imagine Taysom Hill being your starting quarterback in the NFL.
The Taysom Hill McSorley battle was so tough to watch.
So by the way, it is weird that Sean Payton won't just announce that Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback.
His boy.
But look, Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback
they
for the
better
Saints.
be.
Here's my question: how viable might he be as your starting quarterback in fantasy football?
Oh, he's not. I mean, he's not my starting quarterback. He'll be my QB2, should I go in that direction, in super flex leagues. He's a fine QB2. I mean, there's talent around him. I mean, anybody that can throw the ball 10 times to Kamara a game is viable for me. It's he looked good. The Callaway kid's a player. I said he was a player last year.
You always read ahead. I was going to take my next question.
I'm sorry.
Jerk.
We were talking. We're in a conversation.
Yeah.
The Callaway kid's a player. I mean, he was a player last year.
Okay, but what does that mean? He's a player.
Who else are they going to throw to it?
I understand that.
I mean, even here's what I mean. Even when Michael Thomas, should he return, Callaway's not going away.
So where are you taking him?
You better take him early now. I mean, you literally can't get him right now because he's my wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 3.
So he's going in like the 8th or 9th?
No.
6th?
5th.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Tell me who you're taking over him as your third wide receiver. I mean, when there's already 30 wide receivers off the board.
Yeah, I'd still take probably Tyler Boyd over Callaway.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to argue against that. But that's where he's going.
And Deebo Samuel definitely over him.
Absolutely.
I would consider him over like Shark.
I would consider, but that's where we are. That's where we're 30 to 40. That's where we are. Okay? So 30 to 40, depending on how the flow of your draft goes, 5th, 6th round.
I mean, okay. I mean, I'm not.
That's the reality. It's not whether I agree with it or not, or whether I want to pay that price. I'm not. I got him a lot earlier than I've. I mean, this week I can't get him because it's not how I do my drafts.
Right.
I like to go running back early, and in Superflex I like to go, two quarterbacks within 3 rounds, and tight end premiums I like 2 tight ends within the first 4 rounds, and so in all these new formats, it pushes people down a lot, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm taking wide receivers. I'm like, he's not going to be my 2,
right?
But he's explosive. He's downfield. He runs good routes. I like this kid. I liked him last year. He was in probably a couple of my hot pickup articles last year. If you go back in time because of some injuries there, and every report and again, we take reports with a grain of sand. But when you start to when other players start talking about him, and when the boots on the ground and the people that cover the team day in and day out start talking about him, it's sort of, I don't want to, for Ravens fans, it's like James Prochet this offseason here. everything until he had the little flare up the other day was how great this kid looked in every single practice, catches everything, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wrote an article without saying on a daily basis how great James Prochet looked and is getting this opportunity. Well, that's been the same thing with Callaway. If you read through,
but you're talking about taking Callaway very early in the draft. You're not taking James Prochet.
No, I'm not, because it's tomato as far as offenses and things like that. And who honestly knows what the heck the Ravens are going to do at wide receiver, because everybody's hurt right now. But no, I mean, there's more opportunity for him. But
you're taking him over any Philadelphia receiver, I imagine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I get that. I mean, I do get that.
How about Michael Gallup?
I'm taking him over Gallup. I again love Gallup.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about being the top. You're talking about being the top receiver.
Talking about the third receiver on a good team that has a really good running back. So I mean, if Gallup somehow catches 70 balls this year, that's miraculous in that offense.
Sure, I don't disagree.
Callaway has 80 catch, 8 touchdown potential this year. So I'm taking him over.
Are you taking him over? I mean, we know you hate Michael Thomas, but you're taking him way over Michael Thomas.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing good about Michael Thomas right now.
Has he made Michael Thomas a better value?
No, because Michael Thomas is all over the board right now. There's no rhyme or people talk about ADP, average draft position. You look at these things, and first of all, I don't like average draft position, because average draft position is created by idiots that don't know what they're doing. Sorry. Okay.
I'm very offended by that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I speak on behalf of
I don't
all
know
idiots.
who's drafting right now for me to say that, the ADP says you should take Michael Thomas in the 5th round.
Yeah, a bunch of people think that it matters that people are saying nice things about James Prochet.
It doesn't.
I know. That's the point.
It doesn't.
Yes, that's the point.
It doesn't. But Michael Thomas could be back in week 2, could be back in week 14. Oh, we don't know. So if you like Michael Thomas and you think he's going to be back in week 5 or 6, take Michael Thomas as your wide receiver 4 somewhere around the 7th, 8th, 9th round. If you don't, just let him go. I mean, take him later if somehow he's available, but he won't be available because he has a name.
I think I'd still probably take Hollywood over Callaway.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's
no.
Tough.
I mean,
that's
why?
He's still. We know Lamar loves Hollywood Brown. Now, health being the number one concern with Hollywood Brown is sheer. I get that, but
he's hurt.
We
now.
also don't know how much they're going to throw the ball.
He's like hurt now.
They've thrown the ball as much as they've thrown it the past couple of years, and
so
Hollywood's been productive.
Wait,
right?
Wait, hold on a second. So you have a draft tonight.
Yeah.
You're taking Brown over Callaway.
I mean, look, if Callaway's going in the 8th,
you're taking Brown. They're both on the board in the 8th round.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking Brown over Callaway.
Assuming I already have my starting receivers, I think I would. I think I feel safer with the floor for Brown.
I can't. I got an offense that throws the ball more, and one's healthy right now, one's not.
I hear you.
I just couldn't do that. I couldn't. Look.
Well, you're the expert, so.
Yes,
it's not. It's
correct.
not. Yeah. It's not about, and it's never about the player. I like Marquise Brown as a player. He wasn't healthy coming into the draft. Never been healthy in the NFL. When he plays, he looks really good. For 6 weeks last year. Great, fantastic.
All right.
Here we are again.
All right, 2 things before we wind down. One, how do you adjust Lamar Jackson's value now that we know that NFL teams are going to figure him out this season?
Oh well, he's probably 13th now.
Yeah, so you just keep that in mind.
I mean, he's still in my top 5, believe it or not. And
despite the fact that NFL teams are going to figure him out this year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of bold on your part to go that route.
I mean, it was a fabulous interview.
Two.
What the punch him in the face?
Oh, easy,
easy
over there.
I didn't say who.
Easy. Oh, it was me.
No, not you.
It was
somebody
me?
you were talking to.
Me?
Like, come on. Yeah.
Two. I want to know. This is from Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Dave says, ask Ken about the rookie quarterbacks that don't get named starters, specifically Fields, and it's looking more like Trey Lance. I feel like those guys might still be worthy of getting scooped up for when they do become starters, inevitably a month or so into the season.
Yeah, they both should be owned. They both should be. I mean, if you want to take them as your QB2, no problem at all, as long as you're, you take Lamar Jackson in round 5, take Lance or Fields. I mean, and just know that to look out in case, your starting quarterback
Yeah, make sure there's somebody out there that you can pick up if you need to play somebody for a
because
week.
I mean
right.
we are still in the world of COVID and things like that.
Ryan Tannehill dealing with it this week.
I mean, we'll see if he's vaccinated because how many days he misses.
Yep.
But I think Lance.
But should not even by the way, even if Tannehill's not vaccinated, it shouldn't because we're exactly right. It should not be an issue for week one.
I mean, Cam's back. Cam's back today. He missed 5 days. So, I think both of them need to be owned because both of them are going to play this year. I mean, we saw this.
Yep.
We saw this before. Fields, I'm guessing by week 4. Lance is going to be a more. How are the 49ers
It's going to take
doing?
them losing a couple of games.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, if they're 2-2 after 4 weeks, Lance is a starter in week 5. If they're 4-0,
I think they might need to be 2-3. Like I don't know that 2-2.
It's also somewhat dependent on how Garoppolo looks. Like you could win ugly, and it might still be.
You can. But if you're 4-0 and you're winning ugly, we're probably not making that change yet.
Yeah, unless Lance is just killing it.
Then why wouldn't they make him a starter now?
Lance had the big splash play, but let's call it what he is. He hasn't been great. Fields had the first week he was really good. Really wasn't that good last week. I mean when he told the entire NFL that game's really not that fast to me. I was like, okay, was it fast now against the Bills? I mean, looked pretty fast.
Settle down. You guys are getting so worked up about these preseason.
I got a question.
Games.
So we expect
shouldn't be
obviously Najee Harris will be off the board in the second.
Yes.
The rookie running back situation after that, the Denver, the New York, the San Francisco.
Yep.
Like, are you?
Right now, Sermon has jumped up to my number 2
Apparently
guy because
Mostert's dealing with the back issue
Mostert
right now.
already 29 years old now, is a back issue.
Yeah.
And I like Mostert because every time he plays really, really well. But again, 29 back issue. We'll see how many days of practice he misses. If he misses 1 or 2 days, okay, it's not serious. If we're talking next week and he still hasn't been back in practice, give me all the Sermon chairs that I can get.
So he's the one you'd maybe reach for.
Yeah, I'm right now. Yes.
I really love Javonte Williams.
I love
him
too.
I really
love
Javonte.
Gordon was really solid last year and isn't going away. Okay, and then I don't know what they're doing in New York right now. Why are you drafting? What was Carter, 2nd round pick?
Yeah.
I mean, why are you drafting a running back in the 2nd round? All apologies. Everybody hate me. I know I hate all things Maryland sports, but is Ty Johnson really? I mean, you're still going to start Ty Johnson over your 2nd round pick? I know. I don't know what they're doing.
Was Carter 2nd round?
I think he was.
I think so.
2nd round.
I don't know, but even so, I mean, this is. He was
the 4th round.
4th round.
Oh, he was thought of it was like a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and then he fell.
I don't know what they're doing there. They don't seem to be getting them first round, so first team snaps at all. He plays against the 3rd stringers in preseason, so he's the one that I just took him as my 4th running back in the league. Okay,
What round?
5th.
You took Carter.
Michael
in the 5th?
Carter in the 5th round.
I'll tell you in a minute.
That seems a little bit.
Jesus.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There's not any Jets running back
6.
that I would draft that early.
6th round.
Oof.
So you like him
again? You have to. He's my 4th, and you have to look at on the board of who's left. Running backs were going like wildfire in this draft. You got to get somebody you think is going to be useful.
I hear you. And look, I'm
taking him over anybody.
He's
the first Jet.
I am a serial drafter of rookie running backs myself, so I understand.
Well, I don't blame you. But again, we got to just remember.
I get to a point of the draft where I know this guy stinks. I don't know yet that this guy stinks. I'm going to take this guy.
But last year, I mean, just all you got to look is Cam Akers. I mean, we yelled for Cam Akers for the longest time, and we never got him till what, week 12?
People cut him. Yeah.
People cut him.
Yep.
Because it wasn't being used.
Yep.
So teams are bringing rookies, and again, last year we didn't have the preseason, so maybe that's an outlier that of how slow they do it, but they seem to be taking their time with rookies these days. I mean, and again, we see that depth charts don't mean anything this time of year. To me, are you getting work with the 1st and 2nd teams right now? And he's not. Carter isn't right now.
All right, just a few days left for Glory Days Grill's summer seasonal menu, which includes the very berry salad, the smoky thigh wings, and the barbecue thigh wings, which I tried the other day and were phenomenal. Get to your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Take advantage before it's all gone. The summer seasonal menu at Glory Days Grill. KZ, what kind of content are we finding right now? PressBoxOnline.com.
So we did a fun super flex tight end premium mock draft, which, look, there are more and more leagues that are kicking kickers at defenses.
So in favor. In favor.
So you still have to have other kind of situations. You just don't eliminate 2 starting spots. So, these are becoming more and more popular. Been very popular, especially in dynasty leagues that I've been picking up this year. So we did that, and then I'm going to try something out. My five thoughts with KZ article is going to come out either later today or Friday. Get 2 fantasy football thoughts, 2 sports thoughts, and 1 KZ thought.
Oh God! Oh God! I don't know.
See
where
how
this
this
going.
goes.
I don't know where this is going.
The poll I put out was 89%. I don't said that they would read it. So
all right,
we'll see.
Find out. We will find out. All right, @FansFantasy on Twitter is where you follow him. And again, every Thursday at 11:30, we will be doing the PressBox Fantasy Football Show, and we are just 2 weeks away from setting some lineups, which will be great. KZ, appreciate you, pal.
Thanks, man.
For Ken and for Kyle, I'm Glenn. This has been the PressBox Fantasy Football Show.